Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I am joined here by Sam Snyder, Primetime Sports Talk. And I'm not wearing a jersey, but I'm wearing a Guardians of the Draft Order shirt. That's right, it's my Groot because we protected our position, so we don't have a victory horn today, but we have the Quacker. And this actually means a lot because we're going to talk about this later, but we don't rule out Sewell. There's still a chance we could see him, and he's a Oregon Duck. So here you go. That one's for Sewell.
Quack, quack, baby. Quack,
Quack,
quack, baby.
quack, quack. Before we get going, tell them where they can find your stuff, Sam.
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at Buy and Sell You. I write for Primetime Sports Talk, like Mark said. You can find us at Talk Primetime or primetimesportstalk.com.
All right. So with that, this was a really, really, really tough game to watch. If you're a Bengal fan and you stayed for the whole game, I commend you. After like the end of the third quarter, I started flipping back and forth between the red zone and us because, well, the game was over. I mean, they killed us. It was never close. It was a tough one. There were a couple things that we learned today, and I'm drinking coffee to start out because I want everybody to know that this was a wake-up call, okay? Yeah, we'd won a couple games, but Zach is clearly still a work in progress as a coach. Brandon Allen is still a work in progress as even a backup quarterback. That interception in the end zone. So we kind of need to cool the jets. And like I said, wake-up call. So we're drinking coffee. So
Right, and we talked about in our post-game video last week, we talked about how great Brandon Allen did and that he looked like he could be our legit number two going forward. I think he's only a legit number two on a team where his competition is Ryan Finley.
right. Yeah.
I mean, today he was, what did he have? He was 6 for 21 for 48 yards.
No.
That's you don't need me to tell you, football fans.
No.
That's really bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, well, and I'll go through. I got a bunch of other bad things listed, but we're going to go through them quickly because there isn't really a good stat for us to talk about. I mean, we had time of possession was 2-1, plays were 2-1. We didn't get our first down until like 3 minutes left at half. I mean, 27 minutes. We did.
No, you and I were texting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you were like, I'm still waiting for a first down. And
yeah.
Right then it happened, and I was like,
when I texted you, it was
you got that first down, and look, we just got another one too.
Yeah.
And
well,
I was not saying that you were wrong.
No.
It was timing worked out so well.
It was tough.
I was like, what are you talking about? We just had a first down.
Yeah. Well, and the scheme was terrible. I mean, we kept trying to run the ball up the middle, which I didn't understand. So we in the 2-minute offense that was good, where we manufactured a field goal. We started rolling out. We started throwing screen passes. It's like, why didn't we do that at midfield when we got the interception when it was 10-0, and we could have actually made it a game at that point? So I didn't agree with the scheme today at all, which is why I'm saying it shows us that, yeah, Zach had a couple games where he schemed right. This one, the cupboard was bare going in with the plan.
I think it's funny that you mentioned that field goal, because what was really strange was we had a 3rd and 1 and threw that out to Tyler Boyd.
Yes, I did not understand that at all.
And well, here's the thing. I understand it if
you're going for it.
Go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, right.
But then we kicked the field goal.
Right.
My buddy Pete texted me like, okay, I get that play call.
Right.
If you're going to go for
it. If you're going to go for it, right.
You already know you're going to go for it on 4th. And then when we kicked the field goal, and we're talking about a team with 4 wins.
Right.
And then you decide to take a field goal when you're losing. Why? Doesn't make any. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense.
Here's your shrug emoji, right? You know.
So I will say, Mark, since you mentioned the coaches, I will say, it came out. Elise Jesse reported it. I'm not a big fan of her work.
I know you're not.
I think she's got an axe to grind against the Bengals, but that doesn't mean that I don't believe, some of the things she reports on. And she says Jim Turner, offensive line coach, gone. Nick Eason, defensive line coach, gone. Chapman, defensive assistant, who primarily works with edge rushers and edge linebackers, gone.
Right.
And I don't think either one of us or anybody watching these videos has any qualms about those guys being history.
Yeah. No. Well.
And as far as I can tell, this is one of those things where the Blackburns took it out of Zach Taylor's hands. They said, "We
Good.
let you name your staff. We did that. We let you name your staff, but we're stepping in. These guys got to go." And I assume that they just told Zach, "You can either agree with us or you can follow him right the fuck out the door."
Right.
And he was like, "Yeah, okay,
Right.
sounds good. Yeah, get rid of him."
Yeah. So the early report of him pitching his wagon to Turner is probably not accurate, but it's fine. Like I said, I didn't mind Zach. Turner was somebody from day one. I was like,
Yeah.
why are we bringing this guy onto the staff? It was,
100%.
it was just it was just a miss. That's a miss. It was a miss when he made it. And so I'm just glad to see him go. I wish there was a way to get Pollock back. I don't know if Pollock's with the team right now or what, because he was a great offensive line coach. Mixon was definitely upset when Pollock got released. He said, we just showed the best offensive line coach in football the door, was I think his tweet when Turner was hired and Pollock was fired.
Yeah, I cannot agree more with that. I agree 100%. I was with you too from day one. I've defended some parts of this coaching staff. I've defended Zach Taylor quite vehemently, but I was with you from day one on Jim Turner shouldn't be here. Nick Eason, seems like a great guy, but I don't think he actually knows what he's doing.
No.
And Chatham, or what's his
I don't know.
name?
He's 2 years. He's been a coach for 2 years.
But he's attached to Eason.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he's gone too.
Right.
I don't know enough about him to
Well,
judge him, but Turner and Eason being gone. Listen, this is the AFC North. You have to win the game in the trenches.
Yes.
Not just the AFC North, but in the NFL. So if your offensive line is not doing the job, and if your defensive line is not doing the job, those are the coaches that got to go. They got to go.
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more heads roll. I mean, obviously, we want to keep Simmons around. Callahan, I don't know how much he's involved. I wish we had given more play calling duties to him this year, just so we could see what he had. Because one of the things I want to point out to everybody is it wasn't just Mitchell Trubisky being reinserted over Foles that ignited the Bears offense. It was that Bill Lazor was given the play calling duties at the same time. So all of a sudden you had a completely different play caller. So I'm just saying I would have liked to have seen what Callahan brought to the table in terms of scheme. And I don't know how much he's involved in that. So I can't really comment on whether he should stay or go. Clearly he's got the pedigree to stick around, but Anarumo still to me is a to be determined kind of thing. So
yeah, I agree with you because we just don't know how that offense works. We just don't know who talks to who. I tend to agree with you. My thinking is that Callahan installs the offense and has the plays. So those are the plays that Zach gets to choose from to call. That's my preferred way of thinking about it. It very well could be, however, that Callahan installs most plays, Zach installs a couple others, and leans on the ones that he likes.
Yeah, we don't know. So I don't have enough information but
we just don't know.
Right.
But I think Callahan deserves to be here. I don't see any reason to get rid of him. We just need to figure out between he and Zach. And I agree with you. I think Callahan should be calling plays and let Zach just be the head coach.
Yeah, well, I would like to see. We don't know what he has because we don't, like I said, know if he's been given that responsibility. And with Callahan still there, we could still get his dad as an offensive line coach next year. So let's not rule that out. So I want to see more veteran presence.
I'm ruling that out.
Yeah, well, I want to just see more veteran presence, Del Rio types, people that have pedigrees, not this where you look through their coaches, 2 years experience, 1 year experience, 5 years experience. I want to see some bigger numbers there and some more qualified people on this staff that can build it out.
And we've talked about this, a million times. And I think you're with me when, you've been calling for Zach Taylor's head a lot this season. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you're a little more okay with this as long as you're seeing some of these other guys.
Yeah. Oh, Turner was when Zach was hired, I was excited. And then the first major hire he did was Turner, and he sent Pollock walking. And that to me was like, oh no. And then he proceeded to fill the staff with his friends. And that to me wasn't.
And so that's my question, Mark. My question is, are you okay with Zach staying now that you've seen that the Blackburns have stepped in and showed reportedly, have showed Turner and Eason and Chapman the door? Do you feel a little bit better about
I feel a little bit better, and I'll feel much better about it when Burrow openly says, I want Zach there. Because like I've said before, Rodgers definitely blessed LaFleur, and I want Burrow. Burrow is the guy we're trying to keep happy. He's our future. So if he's comfortable with Zach at the head, then leave Zach at the head. But yes, these moving parts, the trenches, we need to correct all that. So we're going to do a whole coaching so we'll cover more of this in depth in the offseason. The last couple things I have was, we couldn't stop the run at all. I mean, we just couldn't. We both expected Andrews to have a bigger game. They didn't need to throw it. Even when they pulled Lamar Jackson and we knew they were running the ball, J.K. runs along and in for a touchdown. It was like, we're running and we still can't stop the run. So Lamar wasn't even in the game. So it was I just shook my head. And like I said, there's no good stats to look at that are going to be on the good side.
Towards the end of the game, they went for it on fourth down. And they were up 35 points. And my buddy texted me. He was like, isn't that typical Harbaugh going on fourth down? And I was like, well, no, because you could have just taken the points.
Right.
It was almost like, just stop us.
Show us you can stop us. I would say, keep.
And then we'll give you the ball.
Yeah.
We'll give you the ball. It's fine. We're honestly not trying to run the score. We don't want to kick this field goal.
Right. And he went for it earlier in the same drive. He went for it earlier.
Ever and let you stop us so you can have the ball back.
Well, he went for it earlier, but in his defense, it was almost at midfield, but it was like they needed like 6 inches. I mean, the ball was just like 5 or 6 inches from the hash mark that they needed to get to. So yeah, it's like, you stop us. You can have the ball at midfield, stop us on 6 inches. And they just basically, got behind a lineman, fell forward, first down. So
I will say, if we, as long as we're going to transition to the good.
Yes, I'm done with the bad. Let's go to the good. What do you got?
I might revert back to some of the bad.
Well, I have some good. There was good today. I don't want people to think there was good.
Here's my first good.
Okay.
My first good is that even though we allowed 404 yards rushing,
God,
it was not enough to beat the NFL record, which is set by the Cincinnati Bengals of 407 in year 2000. We're going to have 1 and 2, though. The Cincinnati Bengals have the record for the most rushing yards in a game since the Super Bowl era began.
Right.
So good on you guys. You stopped them 3 yards
3 yards short of having. Well, we're still 1-2. So when they show the list of the 10 worst, we're going to be 1-2. And today's performance was go. You have to go all the way back to the lost decade team. So that's not good. So
Well, no, and
it's good that
I'm saying we set the record. We set the record for rushing yards on offense.
Oh, okay.
We have the record 407 yards in a game in 2000. So we stopped them.
That's the Corey Dillon game.
Them 3 yards short from being our record.
That's the Corey Dillon game against Denver.
It is a Corey Dillon game.
Yes.
Correct.
No, but I'm looking right at a picture of Corey Dillon, and he signed it and put the yards and the date down. If I walked over there, I could tell you the date we set it, but I can't read it from here. Even with the glasses, my eyes are, and it's in silver pen, so I can't make it up. All right, I have a few other good things, so let's talk about it. First of all, we did close out the half well, which is, and you just led to yourself was like, well, where was this play calling a quarter ago? And I said Brandon Allen reminds us he's still a work in progress. The Hunt continues. He had back-to-back pass deflections. So if we can affordably keep Hunt, we should really. I don't know why we let him go to begin with, but we should keep Hunt. I really liked what he did today. And
yeah, he had that tip that was then intercepted by who pulled that?
Davis Gathers got the interception.
ADG got it.
Right, and he tipped the ball.
That was great.
Yeah, he tipped the ball the play before too. He had back-to-back pass deflections. So
Marcus is. Well, I think he's 6'8".
6'7".
There's nothing wrong with having someone that is 6'8" on your defensive line.
Yeah, I think they said he was 6'7", but yeah, he's and those long arms. It's the Eastern Bloc. So, and then I want to point out to everybody, this is what I was saying in the beginning with the guardians of the draft order, with quacking the Oregon duck whistle. Actually, it's a mighty duck whistle, but we're going to keep it as an Oregon duck for our purposes. Was that Fields had a great outing against Trevor Lawrence over the weekend in college football. Zach Wilson has looked phenomenal. Now you've got 3 viable quarterbacks in the top 10. You've got, it just takes one defensive or 2 defensive players, and Sewell might be there for us. If not, at 5, we might be in a position where somebody, if Sewell goes in the top 5, that means one of those quarterbacks is probably sitting there at 5, and somebody may trade up. So it's not bad for us to be staying at 5. It doesn't just help us. I point this out all the time. It's not just the first round. It's day 2, second round, and third round. I mean, it's a big position to be in, to be at the top of a draft order, especially at the beginning of each day when guys that are expected to have gone the day before are there. People trade up. So we've got, obviously we need to have the draft acumen to take advantage of that, but it's not the end of the world to stay where we were at 5. Falling back to 10 really did kind of not sit well with me. But
yeah, I agree with that. I think and we're going to do a whole show on this. I think it's important to mention that you got guys like Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase that are going to be there probably at number 5. I don't think Sewell will be, but those are both great players. That's awesome. But do I want to draft a wide receiver at that spot? No. Do I want to draft a tight end that high? Not really, because frankly, Sample has come around a lot, and it's like people have forgotten that CJ Uzomah is on this team. It's not like we're desperate for that. It's just the fans just want that shiny new toy.
we need
especially on offense.
We need bodies for Burrow. That's what we need. He's got plenty of skill position weapons. Remember, Auden Tate is still on this team. We've got plenty of skill position players that are there. We need bodies in the trenches on both sides of the line. That's what we need. And we need or a Devin White type linebacker. That's kind of the part we need.
I could not possibly agree more. When you're sitting there at number 5, if no one is calling to move up, I would rather reach for another offensive lineman, assuming Sewell is off the board.
Right.
Judge them. Go to the combine, judge them, and if you got to reach for them, fine, reach for them. Do I want an offensive lineman more than Jamar Chase? Yes. Do I want an offensive lineman more than Kyle Pitts? Yes.
Yes.
I do. I mean, it's just the fact of the matter. Everybody wants an offensive lineman.
Right.
Let's take one.
But there are teams, I'm telling you, Zach Wilson, Fields now, because of that performance of Trevor Lawrence against Trevor Lawrence and Trevor Lawrence, that's 3 quarterbacks I see going in the top 10. If Fields and
top 10, yes, top 5, no.
Right, but if Fields, here's the thing: if Fields and the draft is a live process going on. If Fields and Lawrence are gone in the top 3 picks, someone at 5 or 6 is someone back is going to be getting antsy. They're going to want to get Wilson if he's the last one there. You're getting to 4 or 5, and there's the last top 10 quarterback there. I just think there's a possibility that we could see something like that. We're in a pretty good position, and we haven't even had the combine yet. There's always 1 or 2 players that will shine at the combine and pull themselves into the top 10, which kind of messes up the mix. And so we'll see how things play out. But being at 5 is much better than being at 7 or 9 or 10. So that's a positive thing that happened today, and I think people should recognize that.
Of course, and I generally agree with you, except for the names that you put there, because Lawrence is going to go first.
Right.
Zach is the next quarterback off the board. It's
right.
Fields is not NFL ready, and he's perpetuating the stereotype of Ohio State quarterbacks can't play in the NFL. And I'm sorry, it's true. And I know we have a lot of.
It only takes one team to fall in love with him. That's all it takes. It's one team looking. I've read stories that Doug Marrone's gone. There's a lot of coaches that are going to want to bring in their QB if they're taking over a program.
That's all well and good, but Fields is not going to the top 5.
No.
Top 10, I get.
Right. And if you're sitting at 9 and you're afraid someone's going to jump you and grab him, you start looking at teams at 4 and 5 to trade.
I can't wait for all the comments on this video. People are going to, there's so many Ohio State fans that are Bengals fans. They're going to hate me for saying Josh Fields sucks. He should stay in school.
No, I want after that performance. There's no way he's staying in school. There's no way.
One game does not a first-round pick make.
Yes, but one game elevated himself in the perception of fan bases, and it only takes, Florio says, one team to fall in love with him. And I think there's more than one team that fell in love because he showed grit and guts. Playing hurt, that guy, you watched him wince getting on the bike. That was after the shots. He showed some moxie. Like I said, I don't want him on our team. So you're shaking your head. You're supposed to sell these other guys on how Fields is great and trade up.
My eyes just rolled so hard, I have to pick him up. From
Okay, well.
Oh, yeah, he was hurt. He got hit really hard. And he's not Paul Pierce coming back to a game. He's not,
I know they didn't bring him out on a wheelchair. That was the only thing that was different.
He's a fucking 20-year-old kid that wants to make it really dramatic.
Okay. Then if it is, he gets an Oscar performance for showing.
Not that good.
Okay, like I said, I don't care how good he is.
I hope somebody thinks he's good. Great.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That performance in that stage might have been enough to get somebody to fall in love with him. And that's all it takes is a Daniel Snyder to override all his advisors and make the Redskins draft Dwayne Haskins. I mean, that's all it takes. So listen, we're the idiots that sat there at 9 and took John Ross. I don't know who made the call on that, but he ran the fastest time at the combine. Who cares? He can't run routes. It only takes one team. So we just need somebody to be in that John Ross mindset. Woo! That's all we need.
As if there needed to be more comparisons between Mike Brown and Al Davis. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's exactly the same thing. Oh, that guy's fast. We should get him.
That was.
And we're all, as fans, we're all sitting there like, No, don't do
I
it.
have a lot of friends that are Raider fans. They were beside themselves at Hayward
Yeah,
Bay. They were absolutely beside themselves, and they knew there was no question that Al Davis made the call to
right.
take Hayward Bay because he loved speed. So yeah,
So I want to, Mark, if you'll allow me, I wanted to bring up a two-part mention here because I think we need to talk about it. Maybe not talk about it, but it needs to be mentioned. Um, they tried to get AJ Green the
yes, they
ball.
did.
They tried really, really hard. Um, the only downside is Baltimore knew that
Of
we
course,
were
they
going
did.
to try to get AJ Green the ball. But we tried and tried and tried. And I think they should have. When you're a 4-win team, why wouldn't you? You know,
Yeah,
it's not like you've got anything else on the books. They tried really hard. Zach tried. Callahan tried. 4 straight plays they threw him the ball
yeah,
in the red zone. They tried, and it's just disappointing. I would have loved to see him. It would have tied him with Ocho Cinco for total touchdowns, but he deserved it, and I was glad. In hindsight, I'm sorry that it didn't work, but I was really glad that they tried. You
right.
know, it is what it is, and he ended the game with 6 targets. I think all on the same drive, frankly.
Yeah, no, it was they tried to hit him early, but it has to do with the pass thrower trying to get you the ball because
Right.
everybody in the stadium, if you watch the Bucks start to their game, everybody in the stadium knew they wanted to get Mike Evans 1,000 yards. They were targeting him. Brady did it on the first drive, even though everybody in the stadium knew he was good. But that's the difference between Brandon Allen trying to get the ball in there and Tom Brady trying to get the ball
It's
in
yeah, it's
there.
it's
So,
still Brandon
and
Allen.
Allen,
Like
right?
like I said, like I said, he had what 6 completions out of I don't even
Yeah,
know
it
what it
was
was,
yeah.
20 or something like that. Um,
So
but I like the fact that they were calling the plays for him. I like the fact that even though Zach has only been with this team for 2 years, he recognizes the situation. He recognizes the gravity and tried to get AJ the ball. And I appreciate that. You can't, like I said, Baltimore knew we were going to try to throw it to him.
right.
So, they knew and they were prepared. So you can't expect it to happen. But I do appreciate Zach and Callahan making a concerted effort to do that because, in my opinion, and you and I have differed on this a couple times. In my opinion, I don't think there's any way AJ is back.
Not unless he makes a real friendly, team friendly deal. I just
Yeah,
don't.
but I mean, but team friendly. I mean, he's somebody will give him $10 million a year.
Well, then he's gone because we're not going to pay him 10 million. Not
No,
after
not at
paying him
all. And
18 million or whatever he got this year.
yeah, and frankly, when you're talking about productivity at the wide receiver position, you can draft somebody and pay them $200,000 a year and probably get the productivity that you're getting from AJ Green.
Right.
So why would you give him 10 million?
No, we're not. Like I said,
It's
it
just
has to
it's
be
just a business. It's just a business.
right. It has to be a team
I
friendly
love him. We
deal.
all love him.
Yeah. Oh, there's no question. Hey, guys, right over there. There he is. That's the painting by Alex Ansara from Sportraits, and
Of
that's
course.
signed by AJ. But right there is the AJ painting. It's up there all the time. Love Alex's work. So
I appreciated them trying to get on the ball. I think, excuse me, I think it was also really upsetting that Higgins pulled a hamstring
yeah,
when he only needed one more catch to pass Chris Collinsworth for
right.
the most catches by a
Rookie. Yeah.
for our franchise. And
You know what? That falls in line with the whole year because it would Herbert be in? Would they? Everybody talking about Herbert as offensive rookie of the year, and we don't know that he's going to get it because the receiver on Minnesota could also get it.
No, Herbert's
But
gonna.
but 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 Burrow might have been in contention for that if he had stayed healthy. So we had there's 3 records that could have been. I mean,
Oh
Burrow could have
yeah,
been
I
right there.
think
So
if Burrow plays a full season, it's a slam dunk
yeah,
rookie year.
but he didn't.
When
So
he went down, I immediately said, "Man, now it's Herbert's award," because they always gonna give it to a quarterback. Although Justin Jefferson in Minnesota has been amazing,
right.
but it's always gonna go to a quarterback. It always is.
Well,
And Herbert's played great; he deserves it. But if Joe played the whole season,
it would have been his. Yeah.
Joe would have gotten it.
Yeah. So, or you would have had, and you would probably had both players break the touchdown mark. You would have had 1 and 2,
Oh
and they would
yeah,
have been
easily.
so. So, like I said, it's just a shame. It's just been that kind of year. So Higgins doesn't get it. AJ doesn't get it. Burrow doesn't get it. It's just been that kind of year. All right, we will be back. We'll probably wait for some coaching news and everything, but we'll be back in a week or two with maybe a coaching. Let's see how the coaching carousel goes. We'll kind of tie it to, because we don't have games, we'll kind of tie it to the news line, and we'll put something up. But you'll hear from us every couple weeks with an episode. We're going to do a draft one. We're going to do a combine one. We're going to do a coaching one. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe.
I think this, we didn't talk about this, but I think this Thursday we'll do another one.
Yeah. We'll see what the coaching news is, because it may take another week or so for the cycle to come out, and let's wait. But we're going to be putting them up. So subscribe to this channel so you get the updates and you know when we put up our videos.
The comments on our videos have been great. Big shout out to Albert, who watches every week, always gives us a lot of really, really great insight, among others. But I wanted to mention him.
Yeah, Chris has been watching us for a while. My friend Heath. We've got a good core of fans. You guys can talk in the comment sections. Lots of stuff to talk about. So with that, I'm going to tell everybody it's 2021. Let's have a great year. And I'm going to say, hoo day, everybody.
Hoo day.
All right. Take care.